Hi, I'm the List Girl and welcome to my videographic journal.
Hi, I'm the List Girl, and true to the name, I'm a little bit obsessed with lists, of which this channel consists of 3. My bucket list allows me to come out of my comfort zone through experiencing new skills, hobbies, and activities, as well as introducing me to amazing new cultures and lifestyles. Then there's my personal upgrades list designed to help me pick up the traits and habits that I lack in order to grow and develop into a better person. And lastly, there's my career list to keep me on the track to success in both my YouTube career and my business of selling nerdy collectibles. But at the end of the day, I'm just a huge nerd somewhere on the spectrum with way too many hobbies, just trying to prove that life truly is what you make it.
Today I wanted to have quite a serious discussion about some terminology. I want to discuss how rude and damaging the term low functioning, high functioning and Asperger Syndrome is to the autistic community. And I want to discuss this for A, posterity, and B, to help be informative and raise awareness of autism. Life is about growth and development as beings, and one thing that I have learnt since my first diagnosis when I was 12 years old, which was that of being Asperger's. Since then, I have learnt quite a lot about what it's like for other people to be autistic, my experience as an autistic person. Recently, I've been learning a lot about different types of terminology and things that I wasn't even aware of, and why it's become an issue in my head. Let's begin with the term low functioning autism.
Low functioning autism causes behaviours that inhibit the ability to conduct daily life and generally need help carrying out most activities, often having impaired social interactions, communication difficulties, OCD, anxiety, and behavioural issues, as well as sensory processive difficulties, often having little to no verbal communication.
High functioning autism is defined as
having similar abilities to their neurotypical peers but behaving in a distant manner and having difficulties socializing, as well as being extremely intelligent.
Off the bat, it is very easy just with those definitions alone to see how you're putting two people on two different scales and one is lesser than the other, and it can be seen as rude. But let me explain a little bit further. Hi, editing Natasha. I wanted to quickly jump on and rephrase something that I said, because it kind of, the way that I said it came out the wrong way, and that's just an autistic thing. But now in hindsight, I feel like I understand better what I was trying to say, and now I want to iterate it that way now. The way that society makes the spectrum seem is like being in a Olympic race, where high-functioning autistic people are seen as the Usain Bolt. They win the races, they win in society, they win at life, but people who are on the lower end of the spectrum, they either don't make it to the end of the race or they're right at the end of everybody else, which just doesn't seem fair at all. There is this quote by Laura Tsoncic, I don't know how to say her name, sorry. And it says, the difference between high-functioning autism and low-functioning autism is that high-functioning means your deficits are ignored, and low functioning means your assets are ignored, which, to be honest, couldn't have put it better myself. Now, I don't know what it's like to be a low functioning autistic person, but what I do know is nobody wants to feel like they are lesser, nobody wants to feel like they are slow, nobody wants to feel like they don't belong to a certain society or that they aren't worth anything to that society. But when it comes to high functioning autism, which is something that I can talk about because it's something that I live, it's that I don't want to be called high-functioning autistic. First of all, you kind of end up feeling like you're a thing when you kind of become classified as useful to society, because I can be used by the society in which I live in, which nobody wants to be used. Then there is the fact that by calling someone high-functioning, you diminish the struggle that they suffer through. It doesn't matter what part of the autistic spectrum you are on, which end of the scale you are on. Being autistic is difficult. It is an extremely lonely life. And then there's the fact that by calling someone high functioning, what you're basically saying is that that person is really good at masking.
Masking involves an autistic person making changes to their behaviour to disguise autistic traits and seem more like their neurotypical peers, also known as camouflaging. Sometimes masking is a conscious choice. At other times, autistic people may not realise they are masking.
There is a phrase used within the LGBT plus and other people as well when it comes to transgender people, and that is the word passing, which I haven't looked into it and I don't know much about the topic, but from my point of view, when you say someone is passing, that can be seen quite rude, because say for example you have two transgender women. One of them is passing and one of them is not. By saying that one woman is passing means that they look and act like a woman and they can pass within society as a woman. A non-passing trans woman would be someone that doesn't completely look like a woman yet, and so they don't pass in our society as a woman. That is really rude and offensive to say, because either way, that person is a woman. Whether society feels they pass or don't pass, they are a woman. There are many reasons why someone can pass better than somebody else. Could be financial reasons, it could be about how far they are on their journey. And the reason why I bring this up is because saying someone is high functioning autism is basically like saying that I pass as a normal human being. Nobody wants to fucking hear that. I pass as a normal human being? Thank you so much, neurotypicals. Not to mention that masking is this annoying feature of my being that I cannot control, that I cannot help, which means that when I am around other people, I struggle to be myself. I put on this persona, I try to act like that person in order to not be hated or pushed aside or seen as unnormal, because growing up, that was the only way I could fit in. So for people to say that, like when I first started telling people that, oh, I'm Asperger's, I'm autistic, and people to turn around and say, oh, you don't look it. What that is saying is that I'm not being true to myself. I'm not being myself. And how does autism even fucking look? Do I need to have a speech impediment? Do I need to have a breakdown every time I leave my house? Do I need to lose my shit every time things get too loud? Do I need to walk a certain way? Does my face need to be a certain way? What does that fucking mean? Being autistic does not mean that I am disabled. It means that I have difficulties in certain aspects of human behaviour, human life, living, acting, difficulties within society. So let's be honest, society is fucked. I also want to discuss the term Asperger Syndrome, which is what I was technically diagnosed with at the age of 12. Asperger Syndrome was founded by a man named Hans Asperger's. He was an Austrian pediatrician, medical theorist, and medical professor who coined the term Asperger Syndrome in 1944. Asperger Syndrome being a neurodevelopment disorder categorized by significant difficulties in social interaction and non-verbal communication, along with restricted and repetitive patterns of behaviors and interests. Hans Asperger's was best known for his early studies on mental disorders, especially in children. What people don't know, however, is that Hans collaborated in the murder of children with disabilities under the Third Reich. This was cited by Edith Schaeffer. Schaeffer uncovered how under Hitler's regime, psychiatry became part of an effort to classify the population of Germany, Austria and beyond as genetically fit or unfit. It is in this context that diagnostic labels such as Asperger's were created. Schaeffer unveils medical records and referral letters revealing that Hans was involved in this Nazi killing machine, protecting children he considered intelligent, but then referring children to Vienna's Anne Spiegelgrund Clinic, which he understood was a centre for child euthanasia. Schaeffer also explains how Hans agreed with the Nazi ideology of eliminating anyone who didn't fit the fascist idea of what a person should look like or act like. What I'm trying to say is Don't call me high functioning, I ain't gonna hear it. That's just rude. And also, don't label me Asperger's, which is technically what I was diagnosed with, because it's a racist terminology created by a Nazi fascist, which I will not support or be a part of. I am autistic. I am on the autistic spectrum. That is all. I hope all of that was cohesive and that it made sense.